when I'm filming this video, it is early December, almost the end of the year. Everyone is revving up for Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, and for New Year's. But for providers, we also have another thing that we have to think about, and that is our CME licenses and certifications. So make sure that your certifications and licenses get paid by the end of the year if you're due, but also make sure that you have the amount of CME log that you need to this year. If you find yourself lacking and you're scrambling to pick up some extra hours, good news, there's plenty of CME available online or on your phone, and there's so much of it that is free. Today I'm going to show you what I feel are the top 5 free CME resources. Well, actually, I'm going to do 5.5. Stay tuned to the end to figure out what the half resource is.
Hello. Welcome.
I'll be speaking to you today as a PA and from that reference point, but almost all of these resources are also available for NPs. The first one I'm going to talk about today is a website called mycme.com. When you pull up this website, I like it because it's very clean, very easy to navigate. So on this site, they have tons of free CME content. They do have some premium content, but it's marked pretty well what is premium. Everything else is free. So there's not a whole lot of confusion. There's nothing trying to trick you into, paying for something that you don't need. I've already logged in, so my dashboard here comes up. But if you're not logged in, then there'll be an option here for you to create an account. It's free. You just have to sign up for it. Here across the top, you can search by professions. You can do all professions, or you can go down to specifically PA or NP. Most of the time, it's going to be very similar stuff, but if there's things geared specifically for PAs or NPs, it'll be under the respective categories there. You also can go over here to specialties, and then you can search by the particular area of interest that you have. If you want endocrinology CME, you go here to endocrinology, and then they will have choices here for you. And then as you see down here at the bottom, it's got the premium content for purchase. Featured has a couple cool things I want to show you. First of all is the series and case clinics. And then you click here. So like down here you see there's a migraine toolbox. And this is going to be, obviously, CME is all about migraines. You click on it. It'll talk a little bit about migraines, and then it'll show you the courses. And as you can see right here, if you complete this migraine course, you can have 4, 5, 6.5 credits right there, and it's free, all about one topic. So not only are you getting a good chunk of CMEs in for the end of the year, but since it's all about one topic, it really helps you learn in depth about that particular topic instead of doing lots of CMEs on different categories. So if we click on one of these here, you can see at first it's going to give you a description about how the program, the CME works, who the intended audience is, and then so the educational objectives are going to show you like what kind of things you're going to learn in this CME. And then the CME information is going to tell you who is presenting this information, helps you know a little bit how trustworthy it is, how you feel about it, if you want to learn from that particular source. And then it'll tell you what kind of CME credit this is. This is going to be AMA Category 1. And then the faculty and disclosures will tell you who is presenting it and if they have anything that they have to disclose, and then instructions for how you go about doing this. Pretty much you just do the activity, and then the certificate's going to show up in your dashboard. Under the feature, there's also this learning centers. And so if you look at these, like this Serious Mental Illness Learning Center, it has 12 activities in this bundle. And so there's lots of different choices you have. But the difference here is that there's also some resources that they give you, resources for clinicians and then resources for individuals here. So the Learning Center is really just a place to go a little bit more in depth on a particular topic. Here's premium content if you do want to dive into some of the more extensive free content, live events, and then a catalog. You can browse or search the entire catalog. And here you can kind of search by format, whether you want to watch a video, whether you want to do a case study, just listening to something. You can also search by how long it takes. which is also going to correspond with how many credit hours there is. Here again, you can search by topic and by profession. So pretty easy to navigate, lots of different choices. And then once you've completed the CMEs, they come over here to your dashboard. And on the dashboard, you'll have your transcript that you can access, quick links if you want to go back to different things. And then your activity status here is going to have all of the different activities you completed and the ability to download the certificate for it. So that's mycme.com. The next one I want to talk about is Medscape. Medscape.com is all you have to put in. It comes to their homepage. As you can see, it's a kind of a busy page. It's not my favorite. I prefer the clean pages like mycme.com. But once you learn how to navigate it, it's not terrible. Here under Medscape, you'll see that there's news and perspective, drugs and disease. We're going to come over here to CME and education and click on that. And then you can look at the activities that are there that they give you, just some random activities they pull up. But if you look up here, you see that it's next to Medscape, it's got family medicine. That means that they're going to be pulling up activities to do with family medicine. If you want to search by different topic, you can go here next to family medicine. You'll see the drop-down arrow there. And then you can pick by specialty if you really want to narrow down your CME. The kind of interesting thing about Medscape is that they've got a couple different things here that I haven't seen on some other CME sites. They've got like the business of medicine, they've got public health, they've got interprofessional, shared decision making. So if you're looking for something like that, this is a good place to find it. But we're just going to keep it at family medicine. And when you go down here, they'll have the different activities, and you can see it's kind of nice. It'll have the title, a little description about what it's going to be, and then it'll show you how long it'll take and how many CME credits that you'll get for this particular activity. But if you want to filter, it's got a pretty nice filter. You just go here to this filter button, and then you can search by topic over here to the left, and you can put in multiple topics. You don't have to just pick one. You also have the choice where you can search by credit hours. So if you are needing lots of credit hours and you want the big ones, then you can just filter those out. And then format, they've got here where, again, you can search by what kind of learning style you like, whether you just want to read or whether you want to see slides or videos. And then over to the side, this one is, again, a little unique to Medscape. I haven't seen this on a lot of them, where it gives you like a choice of how you want the information presented, whether it's going to be a roundtable with a couple providers discussing the topic, whether it's a clinical review or a case study, or just a straight up journal article. You can choose right there. And of course, you can filter by each individual type, or you can put multiple filters on. So pretty handy. And again, like all of these I'm going to show you, they do generate a CME certificate that you'll go to the dashboard and you can download from them. And then the next one I want to show you is Doximity. So Doximity is not really my favorite as far as finding CMEs, like you're specifically going to look for CME activities. But what I like about Doximity is I'm always kind of surprised when I get Doximity CME. It's almost like an extra bonus that I forget about, because it's got a news feed here similar to Instagram or LinkedIn or, typical social media type things. And you scroll down and you find the things that you're interested in, and you click on them and read the articles. You don't get CME credit for every article that you read. They are only specific ones, like all of these that we just scrolled past. Those are not CME activities. But if you go on down, this one, it's usually ones that are more like journal articles. It'll have this CME right here on this little button that says CME. That means if you read this article, then you will get CME credit. And so you can set up in your profile to get reminded that you have CME certificates to redeem. I just have this set up, and when I have a few minutes, instead of scrolling through Facebook, I might scroll through Doximity and just read some articles. If you do that constantly throughout the year, then you're going to have CME built up, and it's kind of a nice surprise when it sends me a little notification that says, you have CME earned, and then I can just go download the certificates and put them on NCCPA. So that's why I like Doximity. The next one that I'm going to mention is UpToDate. I don't have UpToDate loaded on my computer here, so I don't really have anything to show you, but I think almost all of us use UpToDate, especially if you're newer in practice. Hopefully everyone knows that you can get CME with UpToDate. So every time you pull up a topic and you spend time in there reading and learning about that topic, it's automatically going to record that you got CME for that particular topic. And since a lot of institutions pay for UpToDate for their providers, then that is also free CME for you. When you're logged in, you can go under your profile and you can see how many CME credits you have, and you can print out those certificates. And what's great about that is probably the best thing ever is that you are doing that anyway for the most part. If you're there working and you're looking up something on UpToDate, you're probably looking it up because you need to know the information right then. But you are learning about that topic, so it makes sense that you would get CME for it. If you look up a couple topics a week, you can have a pretty good chunk of AMA Category 1 CME just by doing your job every day. The next free CME that I want to talk about is the CME we can get through Hippocrates. The reason that I mention Hippocrates is not because it's the best CME out there, and unfortunately, it's not like UpToDate where you are generating the CME when you're doing the searches, looking up the medicines and different things that you're doing on a daily basis. You do have to go separately to the CME button to find articles and presentations for CME. But since most of us have Hippocrates loaded on our cell phones, we have it with us all the time. And if you're stuck somewhere waiting, you've got 15 minutes to an hour to spare, you can jump in and do some pretty easy CME. So when you log into the app, at the main menu here, you'll see the CME. You just click that, and it's going to take you directly to some recommendations recommended for you, activities for family practice, activities that are 15 minutes or less, activities for 1 credit. So that's just some quick choices that they give you right there. You can go to the catalog and just scroll through all of the options, or you can hit this filter button here, and then you can filter by duration of the credit or the amount of credit that you'll get, whether you want it via text or a video, different specialty areas, and then different clinical topics. And then you can see down here, bottom says View Activities 85. They don't have like a huge library of CME, but like I said, for the convenience, it is something that I mention because if you can do a little bit of CME throughout the year, then that really helps you. You're not in a huge crunch at the end of the year to get a ton of CME in. For those of you who are not that familiar with all of the incredible things that Hippocrates can do, I made a video on that earlier. I'll put a link in the description box below, and then at the end of this video, there'll be a link taking you to that video. It's a pretty handy app. We're talking about the totally free app. If you've never used it beyond the basics of looking up medications, you might be surprised at how much Hippocrates can do. So check that out if you're interested. So those are my top 5 free CME resources. But I told you that there was that little half resource left. It is really specific for PAs. NPs may have something equivalent with their nursing boards. I'm not sure, I can't speak to that. But for PAs, some states have very specific CME topics that you are required to have. So if you've never checked that about your state, I would urge you to go to your state's medical board page and look and see what the specific requirements are for being a PA in that state, and make sure that you have taken all of the ones that you need. So for instance, for Washington State, and go to their medical commission here and go to the physician assistant license requirements, and you scroll down, and it's got the additional information or documents required, and it shows that you need 6 hours of suicide prevention training and 1 hour of opioid prescribing training. So if you click on that suicide prevention training, it'll take you to this description about what all that they're looking for. And it will also have a list here of the different courses that are available for that. So let's look at Texas. Go to the Texas Medical Board and CME for PAs, and then it's going to tell you what they require here in Texas. So you have to have some initial opioid training, but then they also have this new human trafficking prevention requirement that you have to do. So if you click on the link here, it's going to take you to this page that's got a list of the human trafficking courses. And unlike Washington State, this one's a little bit better. It gives you more information, shows you how long the course length is, and if there's a cost associated with it, and if it's online or in person. And you can see there's a big mixture of free and paid courses. I did my free course from here. It was easy to navigate. But the best thing about the courses that are available straight from these sites is that you know it's going to meet the requirements that they've laid out for that particular training. So that was a little bonus tip that I gave you. Go to your state site for state-specific training. For those of you who have CME money provided through your employer and you have lots of options out there, I would suggest you go find those CMEs that give you like gift cards for signing up with them or something like that, or go to a fun conference. For those who don't have those resources, these are some of my tips for the best place to find free CME. Remember, if you want to learn more about Hippocrates, to check the video at the end. I wish you all the best out there. Stay sane, stay happy, and I'll see you next time on the Medicine Couch. Bye.